Hey, it's Sunday, October 24th. It's, I don't know, 6 in the evening. I'm finally getting ready to do something about this bus here. I don't know what I'm going to do with the shower. I've been going back and forth on a few things. I bought a bunch of Schluter Purdy board, and I was about ready to start cutting that up and figuring out how I'm going to do it on here. But there's a few things that I just can't seem to work around. Well, I thought I had it figured out. Let me put it that way. This lip is a little bigger than a 1/2 inch, or about a 1/2 inch on this side. On this side, it kind of rolls out here. It gets thicker. So at the point where I was going to grind this, put a grinder wheel or grindstone bit in my router and set my router on this top edge and go back and forth on this and grind this to where it would be perpendicular up and down. I don't know if you can see how it kind of leans out at the bottom. And come to find out that my valves don't stick out far enough to add another 1/2 inch of space here. Let me show you what I mean. All right, so I just put this bezel on here all the way up to the wall, my valve on, and I've only got about a 1/2 inch of space here. So Purdy board plus tile is going to be in excess of 3/4 of an inch. So there's no way I can make this fit the way it is. What I can do is completely redesign everything I did here to where this valve will go up flush against the wall, which I think I could do, but it means changing the hole through here and changing a lot of stuff. Like this hose probably won't even reach if I moved it over. I mean, this just makes it here. So I'm not too excited about that idea. So I'm going back to another epiphany I had, is to use sheet aluminum on these walls as my moisture barrier. And I got a little experiment going on in the garage. Before I go there, my original plan was to use RedGard and paint this with RedGard and glue my tiles right to this. But somewhere along the line in my research, I'm pretty sure, I'm going to have to check again, that they don't recommend RedGard in that application for a wall. I guess the tiles won't stick. I don't know. Let's go to the garage and I'll show you what I got going on there. Okay, so here's a piece of 16 gauge aluminum, and I hit it with the vibrator sander and 80 grit just to take the shine off, and then I clean it with alcohol. And I used Gorilla Construction adhesive, just the standard one. There's one with an orange tip that's extra thick. We're gonna see how this goes. And I just put 4 beads on the back of these tiles, and it's only been on there for 15 minutes or so, and it's already starting to set up. I think that's the bomb right there. And then just for fun, I decided to just use a putty knife and smear Gorilla Construction adhesive right on this plywood to see if that puts a waterproof barrier, which for the most part it looks like it did. I mean, there's a few little scratches here where some crud, you know, I didn't really clean this. I should have like sanded this and cleaned this. You know, it's just a piece of scrap I picked up out of the heap over here. And I'm gonna do another test tomorrow and see how well that stuff bonds to itself, because maybe the fix is just as simple as smearing Gorilla Construction adhesive over all the walls and letting that cure, or don't even let it cure. You know, once you've got you know, a layer of that stuff. Take 4 beads of the stuff and stick the tiles right on there. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to go get a couple more tiles and stick them on there right now while that's still wet. All right, so I'm going to see if I can do this with one hand here. This is all I did. The notch at my Gorilla Construction adhesive thing here is kind of in the wrong place. Oops. Got this little piece of crud there. Can't get it off. All right. So let's just stick this on there, just like so. All right. And I mean, it's stuck just from the gooiness of it. Here's another piece. Let me get this spun around the right way here so I can work a little easier. There we go. Much easier to do when you've got 2 hands. I'm doing kind of 2 things at once here. Looking in my camera, my iPhone, and looking at what I'm doing. Sometimes you probably notice I'm not aiming it at the right spot. You know, this sure seems to be working really well. To me, it seems easier than working with mastic or tile cement, because I could just squeeze it out of the tube and stick it on there. I mean, the only thing that we're really concerned with is that we have a water barrier, right? I mean, but if I smear Gorilla Construction adhesive on this thing, that's got to be a water barrier, right? All right, we're going to let this sit to tomorrow. I'm going to do some destructive testing and see how well this holds. The plywood, I can like pound it on the ground or something, see if they pop off, which I doubt. I can wet this and see that it beads up and doesn't soak in. And this thing here, I'm going to pound on it something with it, and I'm convinced either one of these methods is going to be perfectly fine. And now I'm leaning towards sealing my wood up with the Gorilla Construction adhesive. All right, just for fun, you could see how, I mean, that's more than a 1/4 inch wide. It's almost a 1/2 inch wide where I smashed the bead of the Gorilla Construction adhesive. I can't hold it still. So it looks like, you know, I use firm pressure to push this down on there. And it looks like it's giving me about a 32nd of an inch, half the thickness of the aluminum. The aluminum is about a 1/16. So they're on there, man. Same here with the wood. If RedGard wasn't $50 a gallon, I think I would buy some of that and do a test like this, where I could paint the wood with the RedGard and see how well it adheres, and then see how well tile adheres to RedGard with Gorilla Construction adhesive. $50 a gallon. I think Gorilla Construction adhesive is cheaper. I'm getting it for about $7 a tube at Lowe's. It was on sale, 7 something. And you can see what I've used here. So that's about a square foot, a little more than a square foot that I spread on there, plus these beads. So I can probably get 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 square feet per tube. Gosh, that seems like that's the way to go. All right, so I just realized something that I forgot. One of the goals here was not just a moisture barrier. It's because the wood can grow and expand with moisture. And just humidity is enough to make plywood grow and shrink to some degree. And it might make my grout lines crack. This would be waterproof, but I still have a moisture expansion and contraction thing. Humidity, just general humidity. I mean, if I get a water leak in the bus, heaven forbid, we could have a period of time where it's very humid inside there, and other times when it's very dry and they're running the air conditioner or going out west. So expansion and contraction of the wood is a pretty big concern for us. So maybe we'll skip this idea and go back to this one where we won't have an expansion and contraction problem from moisture on the aluminum, only heat and cold. And I think the coefficient of expansion is not that great of a difference between aluminum and tile. Don't know that for sure, but it can't be much. So probably going to go back to the aluminum idea. I mean, this would be great maybe on the backsplash. This is already almost set here. On the backsplashes, we just use regular tile cement, which I don't think was a good idea. It was this stuff. I don't know, we kind of rushed into it. Tile adhesive. I'm pretty sure this is modified thin set. I mean, it feels like cement. And it's kind of a little bit on the soft side, I guess, but it breaks. There's a piece of it right there. It's not that resilient. I think we'd have been better off using Gorilla Construction adhesive. When you read the instructions here on the side of the tube, it's designed for adhering to, I'll have to clean it. I read it somewhere. There you go. Okay, geez, it goes all the way clean around. Molding, wood, flooring, marble, masonry, granite, wet surfaces, caulking, decks, drywall, tub and shower, metal, subfloors, mirrors, landscaping, timber paneling, foam board, stone, laminate, ceramic, brick, tile, aluminum, concrete, fiberglass, painted surfaces, plastic, and more. I mean, this stuff is really the bomb.